Don't fool yourself into thinking that you're going to plot one course one time and never have to adjust it. Storms will come, distractions will come. You're going to get blown off course. And that's why it's so important to stay in tune with where you're going. Here's secret number 3 for moving quickly through your next storm. You can only move forward if you know where you're going. From ancient times, navigators on the open sea would rely on the heavens to guide them. At night, the North Star always sits over the North Pole. Then, of course, during the day, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. They use these celestial bodies to determine their location and to plot a course toward their final destination. Say that after me. Final destination. When a storm arose, as you can imagine, they would likely lose sight of these celestial guides. The storm had to become the focus of their attention, not only surviving the storm, but doing their best to stay on course during the storm. Somebody say, stay on course, right? When the storm cleared, their guides would reappear, and inevitably they would have blown off course to some degree, so they adjusted their heading and kept moving to the final destination. Say it again, final destination. I'm sure you can relate to this experience. You're navigating your way toward your vision, and a storm hits, a financial setback, an unexpected health challenge, difficulties in your relationship. The storm requires your attention. And so you faced a storm while trying to keep things moving in the right direction toward your vision. And once the storm clears, you adjust course and keep moving forward. I know in our business, we try and engineer moments where we can rise above whatever storms we're facing, get our bearings, and adjust course if needed to get moving toward our final destination, which is the vision for our company. For us, our quarterly meetings are helpful for that. We rise above the clouds together and set a course for the next few months. These regular check-ins are as important for us and for our business as consulting with the celestial guides was for ancient navigators on the open sea. Too many days caught up looking only at the storms, and we can get completely off course. And maybe you felt this way. I'm so focused on each storm that comes your way, avoiding the storms you can see, consumed by the storms you're in, that you don't feel you're making any progress at all. You might be surviving the storms, but you're asking yourself, is this really what life is all about? Just surviving one storm after another? Who can be honest and raise your hand if you've ever asked that question? Well, of course, life is more than that, but you can only move forward if you know where you're going. Say it again, final destination. I can't imagine that anyone would set out into the open seas without taking the time to articulate where they wanted to go. Even the old adventurers, they were looking for new trade routes, or some were looking for treasures that they had heard about, but all of them could tell you at least the direction of their final destination. It was the clarity of their final destination that enabled them to plot a course, to use the stars to guide them, and to emerge from storms and still make forward progress. Can you imagine a captain navigating her ship through a storm without a final destination? Somebody say, that's nuts. But if you were to entertain the idea, maybe let's just entertain the idea for just a bit. First of all, without a final destination, when the captain sees a storm brewing over the horizon, what will be her first move? I think you could figure this out. Put it in the comments. Right? What do you think? What do you think the first move would be? That's right. Run. She has no destination. She has no need to go through the storm. So she's going to attempt to avoid it. That crew will spend all the energy they can to outrun it, go around it, whatever it takes. And if all that fails and they wind up inside of the storm, what do you think the captain's main objective is going to be? To get out of it. The quickest path possible, right? Or if it's really bad, she might decide not to fight it and just let the storm carry them wherever it wills. It may take longer that way, but they'll survive the storm and they'll live to see another day on the open sea. Somebody say, that's nuts. Somebody say, what's the point of that? It wouldn't take long for the captain and her crew to feel like life is just a series of storms, running from storms, surviving storms, looking and preparing for the next storm. And if you feel that way, it's possible that you've lost focus on the one thing that makes everything else make sense. You know what it is. Say it with me. The final destination. You can only move forward if you know where you're going. It might be easy for us to make fun of a captain who sails into the open seas with no destination, but I want you to think back to the sage advice most of us got when we left home to start out on our own. Go to college so you can get a good job that has a great retirement. If you think about it, what is the real motivation behind that advice? It's simply to avoid the storm of being poor. It's not advice based on a final destination. It's plotting a course to avoid a storm. And I'm sure whoever gave you that advice was well-intentioned. They didn't want you to struggle. They didn't want you to wind up destitute. But they may not have understood. They may not have understood that you're a person of vision. They may not have understood that the one thing that will keep you motivated, pressing on, overcoming storms, making progress in life is the clarity of your final destination. Forward progress in life doesn't come from avoiding storms, because you can only move forward if you know where you're going. Say, I need a clear destination. Somebody say, I don't want to blow around aimlessly from storm to storm. One of our favorite scriptures to share with our clients is in Habakkuk chapter 2, and it says, write down the vision and make it plain, that he may run who reads it. It's important to have a clear vision so that you navigate towards it at all times. How much attention have you given to clarifying your final destination? It's a good use of time to write it down, to envision yourself achieving your dreams, to imagine experiencing all the emotions associated with where you want to go. The more clarity you have, the more clearly you can see the final destination in your mind's eye, the easier it is to set your course and to make progress. You're not going to run away from storms. If they sit between you and your final destination, you'll take them head on. You'll let them serve their purpose on your journey, and you'll move through them toward your purpose. So what's your final destination? What heading will you keep coming back to? I take a lot of comfort in knowing that ships out there on the open seas are off course like 90% of the time. It's true for planes and rocket ships as well. Their journey is full of constant readjustments back on course toward their final destination. And it's the same with you. Don't fool yourself into thinking that you're going to plot one course one time and never have to adjust it. Storms will come. Distractions will come. You're going to get blown off course. And that's why it's so important to stay in tune with where you're going. The more frequently you think back to your final destination and readjust, the quicker you'll get there. So remember, and you can fill in the blank, you can only move forward if you know where you're going.